Hey guys, so this one's gonna be a little different. Um, as some of you may already know, I've started doing 70s in competition. Um, and I don't know, I just want to start tracking my progress in the form of, I don't know, updates. It's been, what, like I don't know, like 6 or 7 70 attempts so far. I feel like there's going to be a lot more time between PRs at this level of difficulty. So, yeah, I just wanted to catch people up on the progress because not a lot can be seen through just the results posted on the WCA. So, yeah, this is my most recent 70 attempt and my best so far. It's 55 out of 70. A lot of great things, a lot of easy things to fix. And yeah, so I guess I'll start by talking about what it's been like since my last PR, the 63 to 68, which was a blessing. It was really nice to skip 68 entirely, pretty much, like just the one attempt and then onto the 70s. And yeah, I was determined to like keep the momentum going, which has always been a problem of mine. Every time I accomplish something in this event, it's always like, okay, I get really motivated to practice. I'm all pumped up, and then the next thing happens that just destroys all momentum. Like after my first 50 pointer last year, I went straight to 64, but I was forced to wait like 3 months, and then first attempt back, there was a stopwatch malfunction. Like the 66 grind, as soon as I got that PR, it was like right before North American Champs, and I didn't want to risk moving up yet because I just wanted to stick with what I was doing until after that. So I was stuck on 66 for way too long. And yeah, so after the 68 attempt, I had 2 attempts in Chicago immediately after. And I, of course, got sick that week. So that was great. Like the trip was already booked, and it was 2 attempts. And I don't know, my 56 out of 60 the year before was actually while I was sick. I was probably even worse. I probably had a fever or something. I remember feeling a lot worse. And I managed to get the 56 out of 60. So I figured, hey, you never know. Maybe let's just go. But no, 70 hit way harder than 60 did. I was essentially useless, and a lot of that had to do with like I took way too much medicine to try to feel better, but all that medicine made my brain not work. So like I could barely do like small cube attempts. I could pretty much just do 3 blind. Like even my big cube blind results were just awful. So that sucked because flying and staying in a hotel, that's an expensive trip. But I at least tried, and I know there's the possibility like I could have just done less. I could have done like a 60 cube attempt, but I'm really tired of saying I'm going to do 70 cubes and then just shit happening. Like I'm just tired of saying I'm going to do things and then not doing them just because of random shit that keeps coming up. So I was determined to try 70, even though I probably wasn't able to do it that day. So those are 2 quits right off the bat. DNF. The first one was right in the morning when I felt my worst, and I got through like the first 2 passes of my 30 cubes, and then I realized I was like a minute behind already, so I just stopped. I just at 70, you're not making up a minute later on. It's just not happening. So that happened, and then in the afternoon on the second attempt, I actually felt better, but I was still behind by about a minute once I got to like finishing the long-term memo stuff, which isn't that bad. Like that could maybe like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't a minute. It was probably like 30 seconds or something. I don't know. But then I think on the short-term, not the short-term stuff, like as soon as I started the middle stuff, I accidentally turned a cube. And at that point, I started to panic. And whenever that happens, I start to panic. It's just like, great, I already have a DNF. And yeah, it just completely fell apart from there, and I quit that one too. So not a great start. The worst start imaginable, actually. because DNFs like that can really get to my head sometimes. It hasn't happened in a while, where like I get one and I just keep getting them because just your confidence goes down. But because I was sick and I knew that, and it wasn't like a skill issue, like I literally was feeling like crap, it didn't affect me that much. So yeah, so those are my first two tries. And my third try, I did manage to get through it. It was Natty Cube something in Massachusetts, and that one started off really nervous. I was on time for everything. Like the timing for all the memo was good. I think I ended around like 40 minutes, which isn't the best, but doable. And it was just a nervous mess, like the whole thing. So I knew it wasn't gonna be that great. My short-term stuff I think was good, but I remember the middle stuff. I'd be surprised if I solved like a third of them. So by the time I got to my last 30 cubes, I knew I was just fighting to get a success, like just to get at least 35 solved. So I have a result, which I got 38. So I got my first 70 attempt recorded is 38 out of 70 from that comp. And at that time, that was the biggest result then. The 63 out of 68 was no longer the biggest result. Which is a little sad because that's actually a good result. But I was happy to just have 70 on my profile. And I improved a little bit on my next one. The next one was in Ohio. Drove 9 hours for one attempt because I just keep doing that. I don't know why. I never do well. I'm always so tired. But I didn't feel that bad that day, I guess. But that attempt felt much better. I remember I was actually ahead of schedule. And I think that's because I was practicing 72 at home, which I'll get to in a bit. But yeah, I was like way ahead of schedule. I think I slowed down a little bit towards the end of memo, which I normally should tell myself not to do. But I think the first few cubes I solved were okay. The middle cubes, though, were I think that's where I started to struggle. And I don't know. It was one of those attempts where the long-term stuff felt pretty good. Actually, the highlight of that one, it was a 49 out of 70. The highlight was that I was stopped with just one cube left. So like I was finishing up the edges, going into the corners on my final cube. So, which I knew. So it would have been 50 out of 70, sub 1. It was so close to being that, which would have been so much better. It looks so much better than 49 out of 70 at the hour. But yeah. The thing I'm most happy with that attempt is the time. The time I was closest. That was my closest so far to sub 1ing it. In terms of the accuracy, it actually felt better than it ended up being. I guess there were a lot of small recall mistakes that I didn't even think were a possibility. Like sometimes when I make recall mistakes, I know that it's like I think that's it. Like that might be what it is, and then I'm wrong. But these I don't know, half of them, I felt like I had like maybe missed 10 cubes or something. So I was a little bummed by the result because I felt really calm. The memo speed was ahead of schedule. And yeah, so I was a little disappointed because I felt like it could have been a lot better and it should have been a lot better, but whatever. It's still progress over 38 out of 70. So that was that. And then I had one more comp. That actually concluded 2024. So that was my last competition. That was my last attempt at 70 in 2024. So it was good to get a head start on it going into this year. But yeah, so far this year, it's not been great. My first competition was again in Ohio. I decided 2 weeks later that why not, let's do it again. But this time I think the driving really caught up to me because I was dead. I also didn't sleep that well the night before, which is amazing because like I just drove like 9 hours. You should be able to sleep. But you could also, actually I think I split the driving. Yeah, I did. I did like 7 hours and 2, like 2 the day of the comp. So, but anyway, Harsh's house is amazing. The venue is so nice. The conditions were great. They were very accommodating. I just didn't have it that day. It started off feeling similar to like the 38 out of 70. I was nervous, probably just because I knew I didn't feel great. Uh, and yeah, the midterm stuff, I remember feeling like it was the weakest memo ever. The short stuff was good. I probably DNF'd some. It was so bad I didn't even look at the video. But I do remember ditching like the last 5 of the mid stuff, the mid 20, because I don't know. I was just like, screw this part. And then when I got to the long term stuff, it was just a DNF fest. I just kept putting things aside. I don't even know how many I solved. I think by the end I had like 32. I quit with 10 cubes left. I probably could have squeezed out another 3 cubes and gotten like another 38 out of 70 or something close to that. But I just quit with 10 left because I was just really tired of putting cubes down. That just happens sometimes. I'd rather just take the DNF. But yeah, I was probably nearing the hour anyway. That's how slow it was too from the shitty exec. But yeah, so that comp, I didn't make any progress. I did get a really nice 3-blind single though. I got a 15-10, which is like probably one of my top 5 best solves ever. So that was cool. It was 7 algs, really lucky. I don't know if I'll ever get another chance like that again. So now I'm 13th in the world at that without ever giving a shit about it. So that's cool. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder to beat that now. So at least I didn't go there for nothing. I got that out of it. So that was a nice pick me up. And that leads to this comp. This is at the Palisades. This is organized by Steven. It's only 20 minutes from the office and where I live. So I was really looking forward to this one because I was like, oh, it's a 20-minute drive. I can sleep in. The only problem was it snowed. There was like a winter storm warning. So the day before, Steven and the delegates, they decided to turn it into like a half-day comp. Everything was squished into the morning because it was going to snow in the afternoon. And multi was originally scheduled around 2 or something. So I was like, oh man, I can sleep in. I can show up like in the middle of 4 or 5 blind, get my attempts in. I was expecting to sleep in to like 9, but so the day before I did 1 practice attempt, but I did it at like 5 p.m. and I had coffee at like 4 p.m. And I think I also took a nap. I took like a 1-hour nap, woke up, had coffee, and then did the attempt. It might have been later in the night. I can't remember. Definitely too late to have coffee. But then Steven told me about the schedule change and that multi was going to be like right first thing in the morning. So I was like, shit, I hope I can sleep tonight. And also I was picking him up and we were getting there early. So just to be safe, I was like, I had to get up at like 6:30. Because we're all supposed to show up at like 8. Yeah, I tried to go to bed at like 8 p.m. or like 9 p.m. I was like, oh, let me get ahead of this because it'll probably take me like 2 hours to go to sleep. I fell asleep instantly and then woke up at 10 p.m. and I was fucked. At 10 p.m. I lay there for like 4 hours until I fell asleep again. It was terrible. Yeah, I think I went to sleep sometime between like 2 and 3. So I got like somewhere between 3 and 4 hours of sleep. 5 or 6 if you count the naps, but I don't know. It felt like I only had 3 or 4 hours. So that was nice. It pretty much canceled out the fact that this comp was right next to me. But still, it was a good opportunity. Huge thanks to Steven for organizing this one. And he said, I think he's going to organize a few more in this area, which would be really nice on me and my wallet. So I'm getting a little tired of traveling. I'm getting a bit too old for this. But yeah, so given all that, pretty proud of how this went because I wasn't feeling the greatest. I didn't feel as tired as I did in Ohio, but I definitely wasn't feeling confident. So yeah, about this attempt, I guess I'll go through the review system for this. It's not much different than the 68, just like 68 wasn't much different from 66. It's just I go faster in certain spots. The targets for 68 was 9 minutes for the first two passes of the 30, of the first 30, and then 2 6-minute reviews of all of them. And for this one, it's the same except the last review I'm changing to 5 minutes. And that's the general like idea. But I'm starting to like, not accidentally, but I'm just naturally faster than 9 minutes for the first two passes. So I'm kind of ending around 8.5 now. And I usually use that time for the first big review to really emphasize that one, because I'm realizing that's the most important one now. If I have a really solid third pass of everything, the last review goes so much smoother and everything's so much stronger. I'm more confident about it. It's just, and that's why I wanted to take the minute out of the last review, because if I do everything right leading up to that point, it should be fine. 5 minutes for that. So, but yeah, the mid stuff, pretty much the same. I'm creeping a little faster though. For 68, I was trying to do it all in 11 minutes, but I'm creeping closer to 10 minutes. I think 10 and a half is a safe, like it has to be at least 10 and a half, but I don't know. I seem to be averaging somewhere between 10 and 10 and a half minutes for this part now. And the accuracy is holding up a lot better. Because I think I mentioned in the last one that this has been my weakest point lately, but it's improving. And then the short-term stuff, doing the same exact thing I did for 68, which worked out pretty well, even though that was the weakest part of my 68, but that was for exec reasons really. So I just stuck with this, except the only difference obviously is that the second pack is 10 cubes now. So just quick 3-pass, boom, boom, boom of both, and then execute in order. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. So the goal is pretty much finish the long-term stuff at 20 minutes, the midterm stuff around 30 to 30 and a half minutes, and then the short-term stuff takes about 9 minutes, so sometimes less. So it averages out to being somewhere between 39 and 40 minutes for the whole memo, which is plenty of time. That's somewhere between like 17 to 17 and a half, I think, per cube, which is pretty much average for me on a normal attempt. I can go sub 17, but usually it's like I'm right at 17. So yeah, and that's pretty much the plan. So yeah, how'd the attempt go? I guess I could talk about that. I started off really calm. It was pretty much, let me see. Oh, I can't even check because I'm recording this. I believe the first two passes were like 8.5-ish, a little slower than that. It was like 8:40, I think, or something. You can see the splits on the screen. I can't. And then the first big review was around 6 to 6.5, which is like I used the additional time from like what I had left over in the first two, and I guess that pretty much left 5 minutes for the fourth pass, which is perfect. So I think I remember it ending at like 20:04 or something, so it was like perfect, right on the money. And the midterm stuff, I believe it was like around a little over, somewhere between 30 minutes to 30 and a half. So again, right on target. And the short-term stuff was, I think, totaled out to be like exactly 9 minutes. But I did have a problem, and this was really stupid. I've been doing this thing lately where, because I don't have any like super short-term stuff, like a 3-blind cube, I always keep getting tempted to look at cube number 51. The reason being because I execute it first, and I just hate the idea of blindfolding myself, doing like the first comm, and then realizing I didn't know it. like DNFing the first cube because of forgetting should never happen, because you're like, theoretically it should be the last cube you look at, but with how I'm doing things right now, it's not. So I just gave it like a quick like 10-second look over, which I should not be doing. But it's just this nervous tick thing that I have going on right now in comp. This will obviously change when I move up and I'm doing short-term stuff. Like those will be the last cubes I look at. But for now, it's like this little awkward thing I'm dealing with. So that was another 10 seconds. And then my blindfold got like stuck. It wasn't stuck. It was like with my headphones on, it was too stretched out to the point where when I slid over my goggles, it wanted to go too far, and I just couldn't get it on correctly. It took me like altogether between those two things, it took me 30 seconds to blindfold myself. It was amazing. Just looking back on that, like, what the fuck? So, like, it's like the easiest thing to fix. Like, that alone made it like the same speed as the attempt where I said I had one cube left in my hands. I probably would have had 2 more cubes solved just from that bullshit. So that's annoying. I didn't even know where to put it in the splits because it makes the most sense for execution splits to start the second that you start turning them. But like with the memos, it's been the second I put them down is when I stop that split. So yeah, I just put them in the memo review of 61 through 70. So that's actually like 30 seconds faster than what it says on the screen. So that's annoying. Anyway, so memo speed was okay. It was 39.39, right on the money. Like, not on the faster side, but not slow. You know, slow is I consider over 40 minutes. So it was good. More than enough time to do exec. Yeah, so I felt really good during exec on this one. So one of my biggest problems is execution, in my opinion. Just having random brain farts with algorithms, my hands just not obeying, stuff like that, my cubes just like overturning, just things that these are things that when I try to focus on them, I make it worse. So I found that the best thing to do is just relax and do it. Just kind of the case for all of multi, honestly. But I think I stayed on top of that for this one. I really did remain calm for most of the time. I did think that I had more time than I did. I think because of that stupid 30-second added time, I didn't realize it took that long, and yeah, I just thought I had more time than I did. So I don't think I went. I wasn't purposely going slow, but I wasn't like rushing. You know, that's a problem of mine. I rush. I didn't rush on this, so that's usually something I struggle with. So I want to keep. That's something I really want to keep doing on future attempts. So, other than that stupid time waste, I guess I didn't realize how long I was spending on certain cubes to try to remember them, and all that time added up to maybe like a minute. And it's unfortunate because a lot of those where I wasted a lot of time, I didn't even solve them. So that's also why I like to quit a lot. But all of them felt so close to me knowing them that I spent a few more seconds on some cubes, usually for no reason. Well, not for no reason, but usually for no benefit. So yeah, that's also why I guess I thought I had more time than I did. But yeah, so in terms of the DNFs and mistakes in this attempt, yeah, I'm so proud of the fact that I only really quit on 1 cube. I did technically quit 4 because I was like forced to quit 3 of them. But in terms of like cubes, I just couldn't remember anything and put them aside. There was only 1, which is massive for 70 cubes. Like I feel like leading up to this, I'd average like 15 of those. So like between the DNF attempts and I don't know, averages, I probably quit like 5 or 6 on like an average attempt. So like 1, that's really good. 2 execution mistakes, which is also good. I only felt 1 of them. The other one I think was just an extra move. Wait, I don't think there were 2. Again, I don't have the screen on me. Damn it. I think it was like 3 or 4. I don't remember. I don't know. The exec felt good. The exec mistakes, I remember one being a calm, one being like a setup move, and one being like one extra move somewhere. There might have been 3. I don't know. I really wish I had the stats on the screen right now. But because I'm recording, I can't see anything. So that's great. What was it? The recall mistakes. A majority of them were recall. 9 of them. I remember that. And those were mainly those ones I was talking about where I paused a little bit for that certain cube, spent a little more time. Sometimes it would make I have to make a really educated guess. Uh, Other times I'd not even realize that it was a mistake. Like one example was I recalled cheese instead of fish. Uh, they share the same second letter S, so like it was just a really small mix-up, like stuff like that. It's probably half and half, like me making educated guesses, or like hoping I was right and stuff like that. And those are a good sign because the worst are when you just completely forget, you know. But yeah, yeah, very happy with this one. But this is what I mean. Like it's hard to really tell how good an attempt is without all the stats like this. The fact that there were really no blowout packs, with the exception of the last one. I didn't even solve half of them because of the time limit, and I was getting nervous. The majority of the last pack sucked. Let's say that the last pack could have been better, but the other ones, they were all 8 or 9 out of 10, and one being 10 out of 10. So like it was all spread out. It wasn't like one whole section sucked. So I'm getting closer. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. And it's 40 points. So I didn't really have any goals with this. Like I don't expect to get world record for a very long time with this. But like I guess my goal has just been to get better every time. So, but now that this is a 40 pointer, which is respectable, I consider 40 points to be a result that I shouldn't be like mad at myself, but I'm not happy either. It's not bad. That should win most comps, which I didn't actually win this because Andrew got his PR with like 41 points. So congrats to him. But yeah, so I guess a good next goal is to get 50 points, which what I love about 70s, you can miss 10 cubes and get 50 points. It's amazing. Yeah, like, so I guess that's my next goal. That should take a few. But if I continue, I just want to repeat this, maybe just be a little more awake, have a little more power up here, and I can do better. So, yeah, miles better than the other ones. Getting somewhere. Yeah, so I have 2 comps coming up this weekend. I'm just going to try to repeat this. It will be my first time really trying 70 attempts in one comp. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I've done 270 attempts at home a bunch of times. Usually it's only the third one that tires me out, so see how it goes. I just got to remain calm, repeat this, solve a few more. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about with this. Not really. I don't think. I think that's it. So I guess enjoy the rest of the attempt. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's actually gonna watch this whole thing, but yeah. So thanks for watching.